everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Oh, why did that do that? So, again, I pray that everyone has had an amazing day and an amazing, evening. So grateful to be continuing on in our devotional, which we started a few weeks ago, Better Together. And tonight we are going to be discussing learn how to be empathetic. Just some housekeeping on today. I am definitely using someone else's computer for some reason. Mine's that I brought with me is not working. So I will not, the way I have the setup, I don't see any comments at all. So I'm going to do all of my shout outs right now. Hi, Sister Marilyn. Hi, Sister Pauline. Hi, Sister Maria. Hi, Minister Peterson. Hi, Sister Michelle. And for anyone else that is joining us on the live stream, I'm so sorry that I cannot see the comments, but I'm using someone else's computer. And of course, it doesn't have all the plugins that I normally have. Of course, the trials and everything of being on vacation and trying to take equipment with you. But I appreciate your patience and your love. Mwah. So tonight we're going to be talking about learn how to be empathetic. And I'm gonna be honest, for me, that has been something that has been a challenge. Only because I've just been you have to suck it up. You have to learn to be the best that you can be. So therefore, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you feel. But that's not how it works in life. So we have to learn how to be empathetic. And we'll go over about three methods with some scriptural references to go with them as well on how we can learn how to be more empathetic. And this is a process that I've also had to go through. We have to understand that in order to be able to live in harmony with our husband, with your wife, with friends or family or anybody else, it's not going to work if you don't have some type of empathy. You can't have a team without being aware of what's happening in each other's lives. That is why, when people work together in the office, they may do work together, but they're not a team unless they know what's going on in each other's lives. Empathy is so important, because it meets two of our deepest needs. The fundamental need is to be understood, and the deep need is to have our feelings validated. Like if you're going to build a team of friends, or at work or in a small group, you have to build empathy into the structure. So how do you become this empathetic person? How does that happen? How is this possible? Well, first, you need to understand and learn how to slow down. And the scripture reference that goes with this is First Peter, the third chapter and the eighth verse. And I'm reading the King James Version, and it's going to read as such. Finally, be ye all of one mind, having compassion one of another, love as brethren, be pitiful, be courteous. Now, we have to look at the culture in which we live in. We are moving at a fast pace. We're always going as go, 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 go. We basically end up relationally skimming. That means we're hitting the high points and we're missing the details of the lives of people that we care about the most. And basically, we become so wrapped up in everything. We've become a microwave society. I think I say that often, but we become this microwave society, and everything has to be go, 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 now, 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 fix, 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 fix. And that's we can't do that. You can't function on that. Like you cannot survive on microwave food. So we can't survive on microwave feelings. We can't survive on microwave ideologies. We can't survive on microwave anything. It takes a process. We have to slow down and smell the roses and smell the flowers, and I mean that intentionally and directly and indirectly. And we have to be amazed and at one and realize what's going on, because sometimes we're going at such a fast pace that we don't even realize what somebody else is going through. We don't even identify what somebody could potentially be doing or what's harming them and the problems that they are having. So therefore, we are just go, 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 boom, 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 boom. We don't stop. And then what happens is we come to a crisis mode, and you don't understand how the person or the people around you got there because you've been running 50,000 miles a minute, and they're already on empty, and they've been on empty for a minute and they're sputtering, but we're not paying attention. So we have to slow down to identify what is going on and why it's going on. Number two, ask questions. This may seem like, it's gonna you're gonna impede on somebody's time or space or whatever, but you have to ask questions. And our scriptural reference that goes with this is James, the first chapter and the 19th verse, and it reads as such: Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath. Meaning, shut up and listen. We so many times we're not listening to penetrate, we're listening to answer. you know we're listening to answer. And if you think about that, Proverbs 25 says, that our thoughts are like, a deep water. They can draw insight, and we can draw, most people hold their emotions pretty close. They don't automatically share how they're doing. They'll say, I'm fine, which is the standard answer, but it doesn't tell you how they feel. You know, if you ask a question, how are you doing? And the person says fine, here's how you can draw out more telling response. Learn to ask the question twice. That's how you develop empathy. Pause and say, no, how are you really doing? The other thing to do is learn to linger. That means don't be afraid of the silence. Just be in the moment. Ask the question, and don't be afraid to sit there and wait. Don't immediately go into your agenda. Just listen and learn and see. That is what we do. That is what we do. It's a really bad thing that we do. Is we will ask a question and we don't wait for the answer. We just we'll ask the question, and if it doesn't come quick enough, we'll go, well, and I'm doing this, and this is how I'm doing, blah, 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 blah. And that's what we do. So the person that you've asked the question to, this is what you said to them. Even though I asked you the question, I really don't care how you feel. I just asked it to be polite, but this is really what's going on with me. So that is what they took from it. That is exactly what they took from it. They didn't take that you're caring, that you're wanting to know what's going on, how things are going. They took, you asked the question, you really didn't mean what you said, and it's really all about you. And so what happens is they'll answer you back with the thing, I'm fine, everything's good. Um, and then, well, like if you sit and linger, and I know, because we are always at this fast type of pace, we have to be willing to just be patient. Sometimes the person that you've asked the question to, they are like, okay, they asked that question, but I wonder, do they really mean it? So they're sitting there and they're looking at how you respond with your body, like with your expressions. So if you're sitting there waiting for them, and you're not looking at a clock and you're not fidgeting and not whatever, you've basically told them, okay, they really do want to know what's going on with me. So I'm going to share this. And then once they share, you're like, okay, this is what I can, I'm listening. Now, when they're sharing with you, you don't just they don't get to like the third sentence and be like, oh yeah, I know what you need to do. Da-da-da-da-da. No, listen to the whole thing, hear them out, listen to them. Because if you hear them out completely, the questions that you may have will be answered, or the solutions you think you may have will probably be null and void because you didn't listen fully to what really all is going on and all how they're really feeling. And usually when someone tells you what's going on and how they're feeling, they're going to tell you all the steps that they've already gone through. They're going to tell you what they've done, how they've done it, where the frustration point is, and why they are where they're at right now. So sit still and listen. Just like when God says, be still and know that I am God, we have to, when we ask a question of somebody that we're trying to pull the information out so that we can, support and love on them, you have to be still and listen and observe and absorb. And then ask God to direct you on what to say, how to say it, and when to say it. And finally, in learning empathy, we have to show emotions. And I'm gonna be honest with you, showing emotions is the biggest thing for me. And Romans 12:15 says, rejoice with those and weep with those who weep. So rejoice with those who rejoice, weep with those who weep. Empathy is more than saying, I'm sorry you're hurt. It's saying, I hurt with you. You will cry, you'll be willing to cry with them, and you're willing to rejoice with them. There's only one way you're going to get to be empathetic, and it's stay filled with God. If your tank gets low on God, you're not going to be empathetic at all. You have to stay filled up with God. You have to stay filled up on Him. And all should we should just be of one mind, sympathize with each other, love each other as brothers and sisters, be tenderhearted, and keep a humble attitude. And that my whole thing is, for me, what the reason why I had a hard time being empathetic at any point in time was is that I didn't know how. Like, I had my own issues, I had my own trials, I had my own tribulations. I was going through just the motions at this point, even through my healing process. I didn't understand what empathy was. And it's okay to say that you don't understand what empathy is. It's okay to be like, you know what? I don't know how this is all going to play out. I don't get how this is all going to play out, but I'm willing to learn. That is the most important thing, is being willing to learn how to be empathetic, how to love, how to want to be in others' lives. You know, um, when we think about empathy, when we really, really think about empathy and what it entails, let me just give you the general Merriam-Webster's definition of empathy. And it's basically empathy. The word empathy is a noun, and it says, the action of understanding, being aware of, being sensitive to, and vicariously experiencing the feelings, thoughts, and experience of another, either in the past or the present, without having the feelings, thoughts, and experience fully communicated. You know, it's basically, it's like being able to really embrace, the person. See, we kind of think, we show sympathy and whatever, it's the same. There's a difference between the two, and they're closely related words. And they're bound by like the shared origins and similar circumstances in which each is applicable, yet they are not the same. For one thing, sympathy is considered an older is considerably older than the word empathy. I'm giving, I'm doing some word knowledge here. And it's having existed in language several hundred years before, empathy was produced. Its greater age reflected a wider breadth of meaning. Sympathy may refer to the feelings of loyalty and of unity or harmony in action or effect, meaning is not shared by empathy. In context, the two words do overlap. You know, Sympathy implies the sharing or having the capacity to share the feelings of another, while empathy tends to be used to mean imagining or having the capacity to imagine the feelings that one does not actually have. So, when you're saying sympathy, usually, if you've lost someone and things are hurting, whatever, you can generally say, my deepest sympathies, because you know what, you can empathize possibly with losing a loved one. And that's usually where it is used in the context most when you say sympathy. But when you're talking about empathy and being empathetic, you may not can understand what that person really is going through because you've never been through that. And even if you've been through something similar, you haven't been through it the way that the person you're speaking to has been to. So It is a matter of, it is a fully conscious effort to be there present with them, even though you have not gone through this experience, but you have put yourself in a place of wanting to understand what this person has gone through and loving them through that, and trying to put yourself in their shoes to kind of get an idea of what they're going through, so that you don't come off as, oh, we'll just get over it. It's great. um Again, most of us are still, we struggle with empathy and being empathetic. But if we go over these few things, we should be able to do that. Let's first deal with the scriptures. The scriptures that we're focused on today was First Peter, the third chapter and the eighth verse. And then we had James, the first chapter and the 19th verse. And then finally, we had Proverbs, the 20th chapter and the fifth verse. And learning to be empathetic, we have to, one, learn how to slow down, learn how to take in the scenery. So we are not a microwave society. We cannot microwave our emotions. Slow down and pay attention to what is going on around us. Number two, ask questions, intentional questions, probing questions, and be willing to wait for the answers. Don't just ask a question that you really don't want to know. You really want to ask the question, and then when they give you a superficial answer, ask it again and wait for them to be ready to answer it. It shows them that you're interested and you want to know what is going on in their life. And then finally, show emotion. Show that you're connected. Show that you're feeling their pain. Show that you're actually identifying what is going on with them, so that they don't feel like they're lost and alone. So again, it's about creating a community, a relationship, a love thought process, to help a person grow and to help a person build. So empathy, it takes practice, it takes time. It really does take having a solid relationship with God, because it is not something that comes easily. It is not something that is just like, okay, we're done and we're great and whatever. No, you really have to be prayed up. You have to be read up. You have to be in constant communication and relationship with God. Because if you're not, it will always seem selfish. It'll always seem pushed. It'll always seem contrived. And the person you're trying to show it to will know that really is not coming from your heart. And they're going to continually shut down and they're going to shut you out. So understand, you can definitely learn how to be empathetic. You can work towards it. And again, it's not something that happens overnight. So if you're not where you want to be in the empathy realm, because trust me, I wasn't, and it took a minute. Continue to practice, continue to seek God, and ask God for the opportunity to grow and to utilize that growth and the love of someone else. So I want to thank you for joining us this evening for our devotional series, Better Together, Learn How to Be Empathetic. For those of you who are not following us on Facebook, you can find us at YV Daily Devotionals. That's Y as in yellow, V as in Victor, Daily Devotionals. That is where all of our bonus content is. That is where all the recordings are. So come on over and join and be a part of the family. We know you want to. We know you want to. We know you want to. Also, we are coming up on tomorrow's Friday. Yay! So this is Friday Eve. Friday Eve. And so it's the last Friday of the month, that's amazing. Like, and we have a long holiday weekend. So I want you to begin to think of ways that you're going to enjoy and have fun with your family. Yay! So, but until then, um, if you have any prayer requests or praise reports, definitely let us know what those are. We want to be able to pray with you and we want to celebrate what God has done with you. So leave us those in the comments. There are people be moderating outside of me, who will follow up. But definitely we want those, because we want you to know that myself and Minister Peterson is always keeping you lifted in prayer, and we're always seeking God for the best for you. So we want to know the things and the milestones that God has brought you through, so we can celebrate with you as well. And so we'll see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. Um, same time, same location, tomorrow, 8 p.m. And yes, and this is tomorrow will be the last day of vacation. Well, technically the last day of vacation for me. And next week we'll be back home in my regularly set up studio, and I'll be able to really interact with everyone like I love to as always. But I want you to have a great evening. Be blessed. Know that I love you so very much. And I'll see you tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. Love you. Good night.